All right, Facebook, let's try this again. If you're wondering why I'm late, it's because I've been broadcasting for a few minutes in the wrong group. So that's what happens when you do these things live, but now we're ready to go. So let me know if you can't hear me and see me okay. And in the meantime, I'll just wait for you to pile in your questions and start making a couple of announcements once I start seeing some people on here. So I'm not just talking to myself, although I do love the sound of my own voice. Yeah, first announcement is later this week, or I guess it's next week at this point. Be on the lookout for our new course with our superstar guest coach, Superstar Seo Academy. I'll be talking about that in the upcoming days, but it's going to be, in my opinion, the most well-rounded and comprehensive SEO course in the history of mankind, basically, because I'm that vain. But no, for real, it's going to be amazing. I've looked at the course that we've got lined up for you. It's really going to be great. If you're in the Facebook group, you're going to recognize the guest coach. Yeah, be on the lookout for that. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I think it's way overdue. And I'm going to offer it at a sick initial price. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah. Chase says, what's up? Hey, what's up, Chase? Video and sound are good. Good. On YouTube, it's probably not quite as great because I'm using my iPhone for that, but doing my best. They really don't want you to simulcast, but Facebook doesn't anyway. So I have to improvise. I thought about buying a third iPhone just so I could do it on Instagram as well, but I doubt anyone would sit on Instagram and watch this long. So there we have it. Let me open another tab and look at some of the questions that we had leading up to this while everyone rolls in. All right, a lot of people watching, but not a lot of people talking with me today. So if you don't have any questions, this will go pretty fast. But if you have any about anything, doesn't have to be SEO or marketing or anything like that. Totally up to you. But this is your chance. So just trying to hunt down a few other questions here people had asked previously. Let's see if we got anybody live yet. All right, here we go. Jamie says, tell us about the coaching. It's basically just going to be an SEO course that covers literally everything you need both to rank and to start a successful SEO business. And I'm bringing on, like I said, a guest coach that if you're in the group, you know really, really well. So I'll be talking about that more, but his name may or may not be Jeff. So Cody says, what's the best tactic you've used to pick up more local SEO clients? I don't do outreach anymore, but in the past, I did really well with cold email and with LinkedIn. Lately, I'm getting a lot of people coming to me because I'm running ads, not even ads to pick up SEO clients, but you may have seen the ad with the ebook that I offer. I get actually a lot of people email me on that and say they don't really need the ebook, but they're interested in services. So content creating, being out there, and paid advertising along with cold email and LinkedIn. So video is conked out for me. I'm not sure what to tell you. I'm seeing it okay, and if anybody else is having problems, let me know, but I think it's going okay. What's the newest thing? Jamie says, what's the newest thing you are trying that is working? In what? Can you be a little more specific? Devendra says, how to automate Web 2.0 creation and doesn't tearing them up in a stack help? Tiering them does help. Automating them is, you're not going to get quality if you automate them. The best thing to do is to hire someone to do them for you. Get like a VA or find a service on Legiit or something like that. But automating them, every automated tool I've ever used has not done them to the quality that I like to have. So maybe I'm just too particular. I don't know. But yeah. Jamie says, Gary Vee says to interview people in my local area. You heard him talking about this, and what are your thoughts? I haven't heard him talking about it, but it seems like a great idea. people love to be interviewed and people love to watch interviews. So I think it could definitely work if you need to get clients. So Jimmy says SEO, video, SEO. Right now, it's pretty much stay the course. I'm finding with links, I get better if they have traffic to them. So with PBNs and guest posts and things like that. So getting traffic and social signals to your links is probably not something revolutionary, but I never bothered with it before, but I am getting better results with that right now. So Chase says, question, if I have my business broke up into separate brands with their own websites, for example, marketing, web design, and hosting, if I naturally link back and forth between my sites, will I run the risk of getting penalized the same way I would for a PBN? Only if I would only do that in like a natural way. So if you're talking about SEO and you say, and you may also want to get, I don't know, Facebook advertising. So you can link over to your Facebook advertising site. That may not be one of the examples you gave, but you get my point. But don't do it just for the sake of linking. Do it if it makes sense to link to it. If that makes sense. Kirill says, what wine to drink with salmon? My research, because I knew someone would ask that, is red. I actually don't drink or eat salmon, so I don't know why I picked that random question. It's actually harder than it looks to be creative like that every week. So, Jamie says, Web 2.0, what would you do over and above automated creation of web? Well, first of all, I would make them branded. So, like, for example, I would have like superstarseo.weebly.com, which I probably do have. I haven't checked it. I've been so long since I did that sort of thing for my site. I would make them look, you don't have to make them look great, but you do want to make them look better than just somebody that stuck up the site and put a link to your site on it. Like, you want to make it look at least like you put a little bit of effort into it. Whether that makes a difference for SEO or not, I don't know. Probably does, but the ROI on the time is definitely worth it in my opinion. So hopefully that answers that. No questions over on YouTube just yet. So if you have any of those, you can ask them here on YouTube, or you can jump over to superstarseo.com/Facebook and enter in your questions there. What about paying Noam for all the Web 2.0 properties? I think their prices are absolutely ridiculous. So I think there are better places that are legitimately, see what I did there, better to get them from. Christopher, what a great name you have, Christopher. Christopher says, do Weebly websites work well for SEO? Yes. Not as well as they once did, because it's been spammed to death by people that think that hitting them with GSA is going to power them up. And it may have at one time, but it's not my favorite Web 2.0, but they, unless you mean like a hosted Weebly solution, if you mean like a Web 2.0, like site.weebly.com, those do have SEO value. As far as hosting them, no, I wouldn't bother with that. So I'm not sure exactly which one of those you meant. If you want to clear that up, I'll be happy to answer for you. Jeff says, yes, it does if you continue to build them out, referring to Web 2.0. Yes, it does. Get used to getting great information like that from Jeff, by the way. Brian says, what about Wix websites? I have a client who only wants to use Wix. I haven't used them. I fear change. I want to just use WordPress, but you got to pay the bills. So take them on if you want. Try to persuade them to switch. If they won't, it's just a business decision for you, whether it's trouble enough to use or not. So Jamie says, I really like the recommended thing you are doing with Legiit services. Are you keeping a list of these on Legiit? I've not actually looked. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is, I thought about this last night, was I'm going to put up a post so you can check all of them throughout, like an actual blog style post. It'll probably be on my site until instead of Legiit, because I don't really know where to put it on Legiit that would make sense. But yes, there will be a find them all kind of thing. Jet says, run away from Wix. So there you go. Kirill says, how can you utilize GSA to rank a site without causing harm? You can't. I mean, that's not to say you can't use it without causing harm, but the only thing I use it for these days is to, not even really to power up, like map citations and things like that, but to help get them indexed and stuff like that. So it does seem to work well, but tools are a thing of the past, other than to hit them at like tier 3 or so. Devendra says, and this is again my universal apology if I get your name wrong, what's the fastest way to rank in local SEO? That's kind of a broad question. first, most important thing to do is get your on-site right. If it's a low or medium competition keyword, that's going to get you half or 3/4 of the way there. So first thing I would pay attention to is getting your on-site right, and then building foundational links. Over on YouTube, Sohail says, does EDU accept sites accept new niche site for scholarship links? I haven't done scholarships, so I really don't have a good answer for you on that, unfortunately. So I wish there was, I thought I found, there we go. Annette says on YouTube, hey, Chris, do you use expired or tumblers as well? I used to, but I don't anymore because they're too hard to keep alive, basically. So they disappear. Tumblr's really, really strict, and they get squashed, and it's just not worth the investment in time. So where was I? Jamie says, what does a GSA blast do to a YouTube's ranking? In my experience, it used to work really well and doesn't work as well anymore, so not a ton. Devendra says, best ranking signal that works in competitive local SEO. I mean, it's not, you can't isolate any one thing. It's an overall process. Like repairing a car, for example, I don't know cars. I don't know why I use that as an example. You have to do everything. You have to get your on-site right. You have to get your foundational links, your citations, your strong links, and so on, right? So it's not any one thing. I feel I would be being irresponsible to say, get this one thing right. If I had to pick one, I would say on-site. Jamie says, YouTube videos ranking. I think I already answered that. Carl says, see if you rank YouTube is the same method as doing SEO. I do link building for SEO. I'm not sure what your question is there, buddy. Matt says, great hair today. Oh, thank you. What did you go over in your presentation for local SEO? I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm sorry if I'm being dumb today, but I don't know. Maybe I'm being dense, but I'm not sure what presentation you're talking about. Tim says, what is your favorite Web 2.0 for SEO? Meetup. Meetup works like a boss because people still haven't figured it out. Beyond that, probably Alignable. Alignable is useful because it's good for SEO, but it's also useful for the reason that it was intended. So as far as getting one to rank, mediums are ranking really well right now. Carl says, my bad, how do you rank in YouTube? First of all, YouTube, most of your traffic isn't going to come from search. So think of it as more of a long-term strategy that you need to implement by adding a lot of videos and that sort of thing. If you're talking about just ranking in the search, the on-site will get it there most of the time, and then maybe a few different linking strategies. But overall, what you want to do is just to get your on-page right and then consistently add good content. Think white hat SEO when you do YouTube SEO. It works a lot better than it does. So if you're ranking within YouTube itself. So there you go. Jump back over to YouTube. I thought I saw a question. So Hale says, suggest a tool for backlink from your experience because I'm going to write a post on it. It depends on what kind of links you're talking about, but Synwire is still my all-time favorite. So that's a good one. SYNDWYRE. Vasco says, hey now, how does the that's a support question, Vasco. Jordan says, do you do local lead generation or just client SEO? I never really got into lead gen because to me, I didn't like that I have to spend all the time ranking the site before I could start making money. Like if I bring on a local client, like they already have a site built and in theory at least have some kind of ranking or some kind of links built, but I didn't want to have to spend all the time getting it ranked before I got paid. With a client, I get paid as soon as I sign them. So no is the answer. Aaron says, hey, driving and listening. Awesome, awesome. Be safe. Don't text and drive. All those things. Superstar SEO is not responsible for any injury sustained while texting and driving, even though our content is that great. Consider that my disclaimer for today. Annette over on YouTube says, do you do affiliate marketing? Yes, although I don't do it in the way that you probably mean. I mean, I do have a couple of those old-fashioned affiliate sites where you drive SEO traffic to them, but what's worked better for me is list building and building a community, and then when an offer that comes around that's good for them, just offering it to them. But like the, keyword ranking and then, finding a low competition keyword and ranking for it, that kind of stuff, I don't do that too much anymore. Logan on YouTube says, opinion on guest posts. I think they're great. They work really, really well, and I focus more on them these days. Matt says, by presentation, I mean, once somebody responds to a cold email, I'm sending out, okay, I thought you meant like a specific presentation. I follow up via phone call, introduce myself, qualify them, and set an appointment for presentation. Oh, it scrolled off the screen. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Did you follow something similar? I'm not sure what to go over in my presentation before I try to close them. I would identify why they want SEO or why they are thinking about SEO, and then explain to them how you can give it to them. So if they want more customers, explain to them how you're going to get more customers. If they want more traffic, believe it or not, some people care about that. Explain to them how you're going to get traffic. Find out their pain and take it away, basically. That is what I do in my presentation. Don't get too technical unless you think it's that particular client will understand it. So Vasco says, do you have any script you use to get clients? Not really. No. In my consulting course, there's a little bit of that, but you kind of have to adapt it to the client and to yourself. So, but the key things to remember are put them in pain, agitate the pain, and take the pain away. So follow that in your script and you'll do okay. Devendra says, what's best for long-term business, affiliate, or client SEO? It doesn't have to be either or. Like SEO itself doesn't take a lot of time, so you can get, I would start with clients for sure because you get paid right away, and then in your spare time you can build affiliate. Tim says, I've bought the Google Cloud and Entity Backlinks. I keep scrolling faster than I can read. Hold on. There we go. I bought the Google Cloud and Entity Backlinks from the Iman before. Good job following the rules. And according to SERP.net, the URLs aren't indexed in Google 6 months later. Any suggestions on how to get the content indexed? I'm just a little worried after the most recent Google update. It's targeting people who use indexing tools. It's not targeting people that use indexing tools. It's just the indexing tools aren't working as well. Is there also a point to the links anyway if they have no page authority after 6 months? I'm guessing they aren't. They still work well, in my opinion. They don't need to be an exclusive link building technique, but they are beneficial. As far as getting them indexed, understand that indexing doesn't mean that Google doesn't know that your link exists. It just means that they haven't decided to put it in their index. So you can either improve the content on it or just submit it to Search Console enough times until it gets suggested to get indexed. But I wouldn't spend a lot of time on that, to be honest. So Carl says, where do you see SEO in 5 years' time? I think it'll get more difficult, which is good for us, especially map ranking, because there's only 3 spots as it is, and they seem to be getting better and better at figuring out where you're searching from and showing you results based on that. So I think that's going to get harder. I think that on-site and content are going to become more important, and links are going to become less important, although links are still going to be the most important factor. But, I mean, that's all conjecture, of course. Devendra says, how do you set expectations to your client if client doesn't know much about SEO and they think it's an easy job or something like that? If you mean a client you already have, it's hard to say without the individual situation, but value is what you always have to talk to them about. If they think it's easy, they probably don't respect you enough as it is, and they may not be a good client. But if you got to pay the bills, you got to pay the bills. So make it sound complicated, basically, and explain to them that they don't need to worry about the details as much as the results, and make it sound complicated, and that you understand the complicated because you're an expert and you can get them results. So hopefully that makes sense. See if we got anything on YouTube. Logan says on YouTube, considering buying SERP, do you like it? Absolutely. My favorite SEO tool of all time. And it says, do you build out PBNs yourself after index and penalty check? Do you link right away? Do you care about link velocity concerning PBNs? Do I build them myself? No. I buy them and I set them up on the hosting myself, but then I have somebody design them for me because I suck at that. After index and penalty check, do you link right away? No, usually I let them cook for a while. I don't have like a X amount of days or anything like that. I know some people say 36 days, but I think they pulled that number out of their ass in order to give themselves some content to write and get people to buy their links. But do you care about link velocity concerning PBNs? No. You're never going to make enough PBN links in a day to worry about link velocity. Chase says, if GMB competition is relatively low over a large surrounding area, is it effective to create an extended? All right. Scrolling off the screen again. Service area, say 60 miles, or should I still create multiple listings for smaller service area? If doing my business competition is relatively low over surrounding area, is it effective to create an extended service area, or should I still create multiple listings with smaller service area? If you have a separate page for a separate area, I would create a separate listing, but for the most part, I would probably just go with the larger service area. Carl says, what do you think about Pbn links? They still work really, really well. You just have to build them intelligently and with relevance and things like that in mind, traffic, social signals. Jacob says, hi, will it have a huge effect to buy a Google Map stacking gig for my local ranking? There's already done a lot of citations. Is Google Map stacking, I don't know why you keep making that all caps, worth the effort? I would grab one. I'm never going to say that any one thing is going to have a huge effect, but it's definitely a nice part of a strategy. Devendra says, how to find untapped keywords in any niche. Do you prefer any technique? Looking around you and like finding emerging trends and things like that. So things that people haven't gotten into. For example, I'm giving away a niche here, but I have a site in the submarine drone niche that does pretty well for me because nobody had tapped it yet. So that's just a good example. So think of things that people haven't gotten into yet. Like just watch TV and look around you and think, there may be an offer for that, and then just go snipe the keywords. Vasco says, I want to build a client SEO business and an SEO training business to teach people what I know. Would you recommend doing both at the same time or focus only on one at a time? I think you want to start with the client SEO business so you have a reliable income and can prove you know what you're talking about. Yamil says, are those Ray-Bans? Yes, they are. They are Ray-Ban Wayfarers, just like Tom Cruise, but, I'm better looking. Best expired PBN domain scraper. I don't use expired PBN, so I don't know what to tell you. Maybe Scrapebox? I don't know. Carl says, how do you find good expired domains for a mini PBN? I don't use expired domains, so I can't answer that for you. Kellen says, dude, don't out niches. Yeah, I agree. I almost regretted it as soon as I said it, but it's, I don't know. I don't get that much from it just because it's still kind of small, so we'll see. Jeff says, I have an EMD, musknews.com, plan to use as a blog. Any thoughts on an anchor text ratio for an EMD? My answer to anchor text ratio is always keep using exact matches until they stop working. Then you can, if you've built your foundation, you should be able to go pretty aggressive. But I never say a certain number because it's different every time. So that probably doesn't help you much. So to clarify, foundational links, and then keep hitting with exact and LSI until you, until you get to where it doesn't work anymore. So Jeff says, scrape box for finding expired domains. So there you go. Philip says, hi, Chris. Hello, Philip. Let's jump over to YouTube and see what we have over here. What do you think of people buying expensive courses just starting out? It depends on what you mean by expensive, but I absolutely think people should buy courses. It's what changed my life, and I swear by getting further education. Just do your research and make sure you're getting a good course, but absolutely. The first one I bought was like $47, and then the next one I bought was $1,000. So, and I scaled up from there. Then I bought an $8,000 one, and then I have a $2,000 a month one I'm in now. So I think if you're going to take the action on it, I think it's definitely worth investing in good courses. So that's that. Otherwise, you don't know what you don't know, and you're just going to fumble around and figure it out yourself, which is okay. But to me, why not take advantage of people that know what they're doing? Not take advantage of, but. Carl says, what do you mean? What do you do then? Use expired, whereas good ones to buy? All of my BBN domains are bought at auction. I don't do anything with expired domains. To do that, I use Register Compass and just find good ones. I actually have a guy who works for me that sends me a list twice a week, and I go in and bid on them. So Vasco says, thoughts on EMD domains? I love them. I think that the myth that they don't work is just that, a myth made up by people who don't want you to do it so they can do it themselves. Jeff says EMDs can be tough as they have been abused. Plus, you have to watch the keywords in URLs as not to run into spam. So Jeff and I disagree on that. Carl says, good auction site. You just go through Register Compass and put in the metrics you want, and then just buy them on either GoDaddy or Namejet. I don't really like the other one. What is it? Snap Names. But yeah, GoDaddy or Namejet, basically. Auctions, you're going to have to do your research, though. Like it's not just the thing with auctions that sucks is you have to like find them and then bid on them and then wait for them. So it's a slow process, but you get a much better domain and you get much better control over what you get that way. So, but in the course that we're putting out next week, we're going to have a section on finding PBNs. So if that interests you. Kellen says he would take branded over exact these days. Just depends on what you're doing. For a business, obviously, I want a branded one. So just depends on what you're doing. Vasco says, have you tried doing Facebook ads for a local plumber or electrician? I don't have any clients in that niche, but I'm asking because people that are scrolling around on Facebook and stumble upon a plumber ad, they're just not going to click it, right? You might be able to do. You can get pretty cheap clicks for something like that. So if you know what you're doing, you can get it right. But yeah, it's not necessarily the best. If you want to look into a good course on that, look up Ben Adkins. He has a great Facebook for local course. So I forget what it's called. He changed the name recently. What's the recommended price to start a good 10x PBN? It just depends on the individual domains in it. I don't like to pay more than $100 usually, although I have, but I don't know, maybe $1,000 to $2,000 for 10 if you really want to get a good network. Maybe less, I don't know. Other people might disagree, but for the most part, I find that you're going to have to pay about $100. Yeah, domains can get expensive. Let's see if we got anything on YouTube. Do you still recommend Ayman Shafi's course on rank and rent? Still a good course. I mean, the info hasn't changed, so yeah. I'm gonna grab some water while the questions load back up. No hipster water today, just Deer Park, because I know you were all wondering. All right, looks like we're caught up on questions on Facebook. What about YouTube? All right, well, why do you use non-expired domains for your PBN? What's the difference between non-expired and expired? Okay, so if you mean what's the difference as far as what's the actual difference, expired means that it went through auction, no one bought it, and then it went back into the general public domain pool. In my experience, those don't, A, it's harder to find ones that are good, and B, I don't know. It's inconclusive to me, but there's evidence that shows that it's looked at as a brand new domain and doesn't get credit for the links. Some people disagree with that, and I'm not entirely sure they're wrong or right, but to me, I always find better ones at auction, so I just do that. Auction are ones that people used to own. For whatever reason, they no longer do, and they're trying to sell it at an auction. So, Jordan says, how do you feel about Google local services? Think it will have a big effect on Google My Business traffic? I don't know enough about it to comment on that, unfortunately. Maybe ask in the group. Somebody else might have some experience with it, but I haven't messed with it that much. So I would just be guessing, and I don't really like to do that. So Vasco says, I didn't catch the name of the course for local business Facebook ads. Mind saying it again, please? I actually don't know the name because they just changed it recently, but the guy that puts out is Ben Adkins, and it used to be called Fearless Ad Lab. So look up that, and you'll be able to find it. It's like Closer's Cafe or something like that. I don't really like it, to be honest, but no, you haven't. No, I haven't. What? Not sure what you mean there. Andy says, is PBN regarded as black hat SEO, and is there any chance Google can penalize for it? All SEO is black hat SEO. If you had to put a label on it, these labels make absolutely no difference, but if you had to put a label on PBNs, it would be gray hat. There's a chance you can get penalized for doing literally anything. PBNs, it's very I don't know. I know how to do them right, and I've never gotten a penalty because of them. So do them right, and you won't get a penalty. But nothing's impossible. But no, do it right. Just do them right, and you'll be fine. Carl says, what do you look in a PBN domain? I know trust flow and citation flow don't count these days. Well, that's not really true. But what I look for is two different things. I look for relevant ones where the metrics can be a lot lower. So if it's, say it's for a photographer, I look for ones that either have that photographer's location in the domain name or in the links pointing to it, or they have the word photography, photographer, or something like that in it. And then I look for powerful ones where it isn't any particular niche, but they just have good links pointing to them and good metrics like trust flow and citation flow and so on. So hopefully that answers that. Isaiah says, would you say creating a parasite page such as a meetup, powering it up with Pbn links, and having a link such as a sponsor link to your money site is a good technique for a powerful backlink? Absolutely. There's a video on my YouTube channel about that, and I actually have at least, last time I checked, I have 3 number ones with just that are meetup pages. So yeah, it works like a boss, and there's no reason not to take advantage of that link. It may actually drive you some business as well as just being a good backlink. So definitely do it. Totally worth it for the price of meetup, which apparently somebody in the group said it changed recently, so I'm not 100% sure what that is these days. Jeff says, what's your average price you pay for a domain at auction? Between $50 and $100 usually, but there have been occasions when I've spent $300 or $400 or $500, but for the most part, I try to keep it around $100. Otherwise, the cost gets too much to maintain a large network. That's actually why I started selling Pbn links in the first place. Was I had this big network, most of which was just sitting there. So, and now I'm having to buy them rapidly to keep up with you guys. So I guess I'm doing a good job. So go me. Earl says, I sandboxed a new EMD by sending exact match anchors to it with no foundation. I'll say I was testing, but I really just got too anxious. Is just social signals and branded foundational links the way to fix it? Or should I also send other Pbn links with diversified anchors? So what I would do is get your foundation links in there so you have your foundation. That's why they're called that. And then just wait. So I wouldn't do any more Pbns until you get out of sandbox mode. How many figures do you make per month? Well, that's kind of I don't make $1 million, so I'll say it in the 6s. I don't really, and no offense to you. I know that's a common question, but I don't really like to give that out like some people do because I think it sends the wrong message. At least, I don't want to say it sends the wrong message, but I don't know. I don't want that to be the reason that people value what I say, if that makes sense. So, but I do very, very well. More than I ever would have thought possible just like 2 years ago. So I've made more in the last 2 years than I did in the first 37. So hopefully that makes sense. What's a good niche to start in as a beginner? If you're talking about like affiliate, I mean, that could be just anything. You want to find something that interests you if you're doing affiliate. If you mean for local, find things where you can talk directly to the business owner. So I started with photographers, and that worked well because you get to talk right to the business owner, although they tend to be a little creative. So they think abstract instead of logically sometimes. I don't like to stereotype, excuse me, but that's just my experience. I don't know, anything where the ROI of an individual client is or a customer for them is very, very high. Those are good SEO clients because you don't have to get a lot of traffic for them to get an ROI. So hopefully that makes sense. How much do you pay for Pbn design setup? $18. Just tag, and I'm going to butcher her name, but Tripti Chatravetti or something like that in the group, and that's who I use. Jeff says, how many outbound links are you putting on a domain you buy at auction on the homepage? Do you use outbound links on the other pages on domains you buy? If we're talking about PBNs, I mean, I mix it up because, you know, that's just a good idea, but I'll usually do up to 20 posts and at least have a couple of authority links in each post and then a link to the money site as well. So, Tim says, tips on article writing programs. How can they be awesome 1 minute and be awful the next? I don't like them at all. I never got good content out of them. So I have one of my best friends does almost all of my content writing now. He's actually doing a great job, and I'm glad I'm able to help him out. Somebody I've known since high school. So yeah, Programs suck is basically the short answer to that question. Let's jump over to YouTube and see what we got there. Will this live stream be replayed? Yeah, it'll be up. If you're on Facebook, it saves automatically to the group, and same deal with YouTube. So, and it says your favorite food, peanut butter. If you mean as far as a meal, I kind of go in streaks, but lately I've been eating a lot of shrimp. I really like shrimp. So, but peanut butter is my number one answer. I love some Jif peanut butter. It's not super healthy for me, but you only live once, depending on your beliefs. Matt says, if I am ranking a video once it is uploaded, does it make a big difference how long I want to send social signals? I know your course said to send social signals right away, but I don't have SendWire, and it takes 5 to 10 days for a social signal blast to be fulfilled. As soon as possible is the best answer. I know it's hard to get social signals right away. You can always do find a service that has a 24 or 48-hour delivery, but as soon as possible, but within 48 hours is usually the best. But if it's a few days, that's fine too. Mainly, you want to build links right away, though. And by the way, what you get with SendWire is not social signals; those are links. So you definitely want to do that right away once you get a tool like that. So hopefully that makes sense. Jeff says, I guess that means bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels, things like that. That's probably into what's a good niche to start off with. So Carl says, do you use the website BHW? Blackhat World? Did I just get an acronym right? That's the highlight of my day. Blackhat World. Yeah, not really. Back in the day when I was first learning, I used to read the forums and stuff, but no, not really. I don't really have time for that sort of thing. Nothing wrong with it. Or I have nothing against it. I don't really, Jamie Edwards says, $18 PBN creation. I can't find her. I did try looking for Trepti, even asked for the group. It's TRIPTI is the person that you want, and then she can link you to it. Unkit says, I've created a new website. I have done some on-page SEO for some pages. I'm getting organic traffic, but it's about only 67 organic searches. How can I increase organic traffic? What SEO strategy I have to use to increase organic traffic? How can I create backlink? This is a lot of questions. Get your on-page right. Build foundational links. Foundational links are things like citations, social profiles, forum links, things like that. Build as many of those as you can. Then you want to start hitting with your heavy links, things and social signals throughout the whole process. So things like PBNs, guest posts, and things like that. So, that's kind of a really big question you asked there, but do all those and then just be patient and then keep linking and you'll get traffic eventually. The way you get organic traffic is you just increase your ranking. So, and it's just going to it's just a process. You follow the process, you rank, you get organic traffic, you make money, assuming making money is your goal, which, why else would you do SEO? So over on YouTube, Jason says, biggest win with Legiit so far. Getting it live, honestly, was big for me. It's something that I still can't believe that I'm in a position to create something like that. So that's probably the biggest win. Other than that, seeing people like Ish and like Kirill and Jeff and Amber and who else? Vasco, all these people that have done really, really well with it really means a lot to me to be able to help people and see them succeed through something that I was able to work with other people to create. So I'm going to actually go ahead and say that is seeing the people that have had great success with it and that it's really helped their career and their life. That means a lot to me. And that's very important to me. So what advice can you give? This is from a Methel. What advice can you give to a college student? I'm assuming you mean with business. Use every spare moment you can, make connections and build your business in the time that you can. But also remember that you're in college, so do take a little bit of time to have fun and enjoy yourself and meet girls or guys, whatever your thing is, and just have some fun. But also network. make connections, and build your business in your spare time. Because I assume that if you're like me, you had a job in college, so you don't have a lot as it is. So just pick your spots, be as creative as you can, and build something along with your college thing. I'm not going to tell you like drop out of college like some other people do, because I think that's bad advice, but leverage what you can from your college into your business and then use your spare time to build your business. So there's the only downside to having a degree is the debt. So if you don't have any debt, then it's still good to have a degree, in my opinion. Over it says, is there a difference between getting social signals or social profiles built as foundational links? Social signals are not links. Those are shares, likes, retweets, plus ones, whatever that particular network calls them. So you need both, is the short answer there. Real tag crypty for you, Jamie. Helen says, yep. Tim says, have you tried Planner's peanut butter? Jif peanut butter used to be my favorite, but until I tried that. You know, I haven't tried it, or if I have, it's been years, but I'm going to stick with Jif because I fear change. Tim says, you mentioned in a previous AMA that the duplicate content penalty being a myth. From what I read up on it, it's only one version of the article. Rank is a small penalty. Does this mean I can just use the same article with hundreds of times without any problems? That still works in my experience, as long as it's good content and the only thing that you're changing is like the location. So hopefully that answers that. Alan says, who do you use for content restoration? SERP has been processing for over a month. That's what I've always used. I've never had a problem with it. I would hit up their support first and see what the deal is with that. If they can't help you, I don't know. Just look on Legiit and see if somebody else can do it for you. There's also one, it's a play on the Wayback Machine. It's like Wayback Restore or something like that. I don't even know if it's still around because I haven't had to use it in a while, but there are a couple services out there that do that. So Raul says, what do I do for indexing my backlinks? Usually I would have said Google Search Console, but that hasn't been working as well. Social signals, putting them in a tweet, that sort of thing helps a good bit. Indexing services, they don't work as well as they used to, but they can still help. But usually linking to your links is going to be the best way, especially social links. So Jeff says, biggest advice for college is build the networks for your future company. Yeah, absolutely. I have friends that I made in college all 3 times that I went that I still talk to pretty much, I don't want to say every day, but very often. So it says, if I was running an e-commerce site, would it make sense to send a SynWire blast to every page on the site? No, because you're going to end up using the same networks and it's going to lose effectiveness. So just pick out the ones that are important, or if you build other types of links to a particular page, send a SynWire blast along with it. In the past, you've talked about avoiding creating patterns, at least in regard to PBN. Would SynWire blasting every page in a money site be a signal? I don't know if it would or not. I wouldn't do it, though. Troy says, do you know King Human? I've heard of the channel, but I don't know him, and I haven't really watched his content. So, Jamie says, are you using any Instagram bots? No. The only ones I'd ever heard of had gotten banned, and it didn't really do any good when I did use them. So, no, I don't. Alan says, I have hit support and crickets. Go in the group and tag Vijay Kandakar, Vijay. I'm not going to try to spell the last name. Hopefully you can figure it out from there, but he works for them, and I'm willing to bet that he can get it sorted for you. So Vijay Kandakar. And again, I may be pronouncing that wrong, but he should probably be able to help you out. Troy says, follow liker is a good Instagram bot. Well, there you go. Faisal says, does powering up citations, the big ones like Yelp with links, do much in terms of local SEO? Absolutely. First of all, it'll rank that Yelp page all by itself. Check out Chris Walker SEO, the SERP for it. I have one of those ranked. And it also passes on relevance and things like that. So definitely worth that. And usually it takes 1 or 2 to make it rank. So, yeah. That says blast your categories instead. It should trickle down. I assume he's talking about the e-commerce question. So there you go. Look over on YouTube while Facebook catches up. Well, there we go. Foreign domains for PBNs as long as you build out relevance or not. Yeah, that should be fine. Tips on cleaning citations? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Am I caught up or is my computer frozen? Oh, there we go. No? Yeah, I guess I'm caught up on Facebook. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to take a quick drink while the questions pile back up. Hopefully this is going well so far. I look forward to doing this every weekend. I'm glad you guys, if you get anything out of it, I'm glad you do. Tim says, what do you consider Alex Becker's greatest strength that we can learn from? The way he sells. I watch his sales webinars every chance I get because he's a master at that. And then the way he does his ads too. When you see one of his ads, click on it, follow the whole funnel, and just follow that whole process. He doesn't do SEO anymore, so forget about that. But he knows how to build hype, he knows how to sell, and he knows how to do paid traffic really, really well, which is ironic considering that he was initially known for excuse me, for Facebook, for SEO. So follow his sales techniques as best as you can. Follow his webinar scripts if you're going to do webinars, and then follow the way he does paid traffic. And he's okay at building a community. I think I'm better at it because I interact with people a little more, but you can follow that a little bit too. So what you do not follow is his attention to detail. That's not his strength. He's aware of that. And yeah, so. Troy says, what's the latest top secret ranking strategies? That ranking is still not all that hard. That's the biggest secret I can ever give anybody in SEO is that if you follow the basic principles, you're going to get most of the way there, and then the rest can just be done with aggression. There's really no secret ranking strategy to it. So I never know what to say when people ask me for like secrets or strategies or anything like that, because I build good links and use good anchor text and on-site, and that's enough in 90% of cases. So. Stavros says, I'm not able to hear anything as I'm away at the moment, but just wanted to post my questions so I can see the video later on. All right. What do you suggest after you get some orders on Legiit? You're in my Legiit freelancing course, so just do everything I taught you in there, and you'll do really well. Other than that, I'm not really sure what you mean after you get some orders. Follow up with them. Just do the things I said in the course, build a community, get an email list, retarget them, all the things I did in that course that you're a member of, so you can go check it out. But there. So Rob says we rank in Google My Business, but I have to click more to see us. What do you recommend to rank in the first 3 listings? Keep doing what you're doing, building foundational links, citations, custom maps, things like that. Make sure your Google My Business is optimized properly, your citations are optimized properly, and things like that, and do some click and search traffic that can help you over the edge. And if you have any reviews, respond to every one of them. That I'm finding is a factor now too. Stavros says, what steps to go forward or any plans which will help expand? I'm not sure what you mean, buddy. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, if you're still talking about Legiit, you just go back and watch the course. That's why I put that together, was to help people with that. So he's talking about Legiit, or I'm talking about Legiit Freelancing Mastery, which you can find at legitfreelancingmastery.com. Like how I do these fake commercials in the middle of it. I think it's funny. Amen to no silver bullet. Yeah, I mean, even if there was a trick that works, I don't like it to repeat those, because one, that'll make it not work anymore. But more importantly, because it's eventually not going to work anymore. So have sound fundamentals, and you're going to win in the long run. So there you go. Let's look over here. Citation cleanup. It sucks is my tip on that. It's really hard to do. Hire somebody to do it. Either get a really good VA. In the group, you can in the Facebook group, you can tag Demir Linkarek. He has a pretty good service for it. I don't know if he has it on Legiit, but if he doesn't, he should. But he can help you with that. Stuff like Whitespark and Yext, they're really expensive, but they do probably as good of a job as you're going to get. But it's a really crappy process. So, OnlineVisibility.com asks, We'll have to come up with the questions next week. Migraines day. Oh, that sucks. I've gotten those in the past. Sorry to hear that. So go take care of that. And you can always jump in the group and ask questions there too. Super active there. So superstarseo.com/Facebook. But, go take care of yourself. Tim says, Stavros needs to ask for reviews from his featured $5 gig. So far, I'm the only one who gave him a review. Well, there you go. Michael says, very handsome boy. Thank you very much. I like to think of myself as a man, and so did your old lady. Oh, burn. All right, looks like we're caught up on questions, so I will use this as a chance to get some water while Michael recovers from that sick burn I just dropped on him. I amuse myself, and that's what's important. For real, though, and keeping a good attitude, it does help to tell jokes, even if nobody else likes them. To me, it helps me make me laugh, and I don't know, keeps me light. So there you go. Look over here. Michael says, haha. And we've been here for about 50 minutes. We'll go for like another, well, unless the questions are done, we'll go about another 9 minutes, and we'll wrap it up. Voice is starting to give out. I actually started taking voice lessons yesterday to help me present better and have my voice last longer and things like that. So really excited about that. It was a very unusual experience. Nothing I ever thought I'd be doing, or nothing I've done before. So it was very interesting. There's a really qualified singing coach, but he also does voice lessons near here. He's actually coached some what's the theater awards? Is it the Tonys? Yeah, the Tony Awards winners. So really looking forward to that. I think it's really going to pay off dividends. So Jeff says, what's your work hours like weekly? 70, 80? Play any games at all as well? I don't really know how many hours it is, but my typical day is this. I wake up around 10 or 11. I go right to work, and I work until 7 or 8, and then I just chill out for an hour, maybe have some dinner. Then I go work out for about 2 hours. I come home and have something else to eat, and then I just work for an hour or two before going to bed. Well, before watching Netflix as I go to bed. So I don't know, what's that, 7, 8 hours? So probably not more than 40 or 50. The truth is, if you manage your business right, you don't have to grind a lot of hours. Now, I could do more things, but I find it's important to be at peak performance for certain things. So I don't put in garbage hours, is what I call them. So I only work when I'm at 50% or more. So hopefully that makes sense. And no, I don't really play any games anymore. I used to really like Final Fantasy games, but I obsess over them too much when I get into something. Like on anything I do, I don't have a medium setting. So that's why I don't drink also. And that's why I don't play video games that much anymore. Also, I'm going to sound like a crotchety old man here, and I am turning 40 in a couple months. So, anyway, I don't like the type of games that they have today. First-person shooters and stuff like that, they're just not fun to me. So, no, I do have Clash of Clans on my phone, though, and I'm doing very well on that. So I do play that. Any questions on YouTube? No. Let's see. Chris, very handsome today. Why, thank you. I never get tired of hearing that. Second, when you did a lot of client work, what was the most common objection or concern a lot of clients had with SEO? I'm assuming it may have been bad experience with past. That's absolutely what it was I worked with this SEO company in the past, and they screwed it up, or I didn't see any results, or they never told me, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, definitely having done SEO in the past and not having it been good is the most common objection. That, and I can't afford it, which, if they say I can't afford it, and then I'm like, deuces. So, but yeah, usually I've worked with a poor SEO in the past. You can usually overcome that by first making them like you personally, and then second by I lost my train of thought. Oh, by communicating with them properly. Like, you don't want to tell them too much of what you're doing, but you want to give them an idea of the like 5,000 foot view, 50,000, whatever the expression is, the long view of what you're doing, so they feel like that you're working for them. But again, you don't want to give them too much because it's none of their business. But communicating will overcome 90% of that, if that's what you're asking. Hey, it looks like you're buffering or your video feed is down. I don't know. If you can still see me, it's it's good. Otherwise, there's not much I can do about it. Is the feed broken? Refresh. Hopefully we're back now. So Tim says, should I build foundational links or social profiles to PBNs? Lately I've been finding that works really well. I posted an image of a service I'm going to be launching soon where that's part of it, and I am finding that does seem to help. That can get super expensive though, so you got to balance the cost with the benefit as best as you can. But I am finding that does help. For years I said that powering up your PBNs was dumb because the PBN is supposed to be powerful, and I stand by that, but I find that keeping them active with a little bit of traffic and a little bit of links does increase their life and their effectiveness. So Kellen says, recovering Clash of Clans addict here. Yeah, I like it because I can, when I do something that I then have to wait for it to finish rendering a video, something like that, I can just, do that. But it's interesting though, because being in a clan is a big part of it, and I can never find any with any adults in it. It ends up these 12 and 13-year-olds end up leaving because it's just weird, and I don't have anything to talk with them about. But I really do enjoy it. I like that it has a strategy element and not just fighting. So, got anything over on YouTube? Emil says, do you think it's possible to make $50K within a year learning and implementing SEO and affiliate marketing? Oh, absolutely. It's possible within a month. This depends on what your skill set is, how much you're willing to learn, how much work you're willing to put in, and how much time you have. But absolutely, yeah. I know people that have done way more than that. We were talking about Becker a few minutes ago. Something he's super good at is having an idea and making it a reality super quick. So it's putting in the time, the work, and the research, and yeah, it's absolutely possible in a year. It's possible within a month, let alone a year. So yes is the answer, basically. Looks like the feed is down. Refresh. I think we're back. If not, and I'm talking to myself, but I don't know what to tell you. Even when you're broke. Yeah. Google is getting worse about demanding all sites be HTTPS. Do you think this might be a future problem with PBNs? I don't know if it'll be a problem in the sense that the links from them will still work, but it will eventually, at least in Chrome, throw up the warning. So I don't know. To me, it's too much to put it on all your PBNs, but it could. It could be a problem. Any money site I do now, I do HTTPS though. Cloudflare makes it so cheap anyway. So, but I don't want to put all my PBNs in Cloudflare, so So hopefully we're not breaking up anymore. A couple people saying that. I don't know what to tell you if we are, but we're gonna be wrapping up in a couple minutes anyway. Any more questions on YouTube? No. All right, we'll grab one more sip of water. We'll get the last few questions in, and then we'll do some business, and then we'll call it good. I think my laptop overheats. I think that's why the stream starts to degrade a little bit. I need to get a new one. I'm very bad about buying things like that, even though it's a business expense and all that. That says, how much are you spending on Facebook ads? Where are you directing them toward Legiit or a product or elsewhere? Well, I have different facets that I'm using, and I'm spending a lot on them. 5 figures, a lot, basically. But for Legiit, the techniques I'm using are to drive them to the Legiit course. And then I'm getting some things implemented to where I can drive them directly to Legiit. Right now, it's kind of hard to track, so I don't know if the ads are working as well or not. Once I get a couple of custom pages made, I'm going to drive them directly to that, usually through retargeting for people that know me already. But yeah, I mean, I also send them to some of my other products. I have a Maps ebook. I've had an ad running since October on that, and it still gets me 50 to 100 leads a day. So yeah, I spend probably 5 figures a month. Not nearly as much as some of the other people I know, but still a lot compared to when I first started doing ads. So products, and I haven't fully ramped up the driving them to Legiit yet, but I'm going to be doing that as soon as I get a couple more pieces in place. So I feel like I babbled a little bit there, but hopefully that answers that question. Sanjar says, hello, everybody, specifically Chris. Well, hello, Sanjar. Glad to have you. Tim says, I've bought the Google Cloud and Entity Backlinks from the... didn't we already answer this? Sean says, what package do you use on Cloudflare? Generally, I just use the free one. Rahul says, do you have successfully applied schema on your website and got it picked up by Google? What's your tip? The only one I know how to use is the local business schema. And that's really just pretty straightforward. You can just copy it off my site if you want and then just fill in your own data. I mean, there's no tip to it. You just fill it out properly. There's a couple tools that'll generate it for you too. But yeah, I mean, that's about it. I don't make it visible because I think it formats really poorly. I just put it in the header, and that's usually enough for me. Michael says, stream has been fine for me. Tim says, just get a laptop cooler if it overheats. Yeah, I don't even ever really use it until I started doing these. I need a new one, though. This is like 8 or 9 years old, and so I'm just it's a really weird thing. Like, I really don't like to spend money on that sort of thing. Like, it's really painful for me to spend money on myself. And this is a business thing, so I should do it. But I don't want to say I'm cheap, but, it is what it is. Shay says, the viewers have to refresh the Facebook page. When it starts breaking up, it's a Facebook issue. Well, there you go. Oh, no worries, Tim. Jeff says, what do you think of a business-only Facebook profile than a normal personal one? I keep getting distracted myself by things not related to work in my feed. I regret not having a separate one because, not for that exact reason, but I'm afraid to talk about things that I think might hurt business. Like, I like to talk about politics, and because I used to work in politics and I love it, but it's just not good for business to talk about it. So I regret not having a separate one. So if you can manage that, then definitely do. But technically it's against Facebook terms of service. So there is that, but I don't know. I think it's a good idea. Got anything on YouTube? Annette says, thank you so much for your community and the Q&A. Oh, well, thank you, Annette. I really enjoy doing this, and I enjoy building the community. One piece of advice I get a lot is that I don't pitch enough, but I don't know. To me, that's not the whole point of a community. Like, I have as a business and I am trying to make money, and I am going to be talking about something here in a moment. But I really do enjoy like talking to people and doing these. So I'm glad that you enjoy. Sean says, if you use the free package on Cloudflare, where is that free SSL key you mentioned? I just looked through their help. I have to fumble around and find it, but you get a free SSL even with their free plan. So Sanjar says, how important is data highlighting if I don't have JSON on my site? I do it because why not? I don't know how to rank how important it is or not though. So Tim says, what's your monitor setup on your rig? The desktop I use for most of my work, I have 3 large, I think they're like 20-inch monitors. My laptop is just an HP I bought in like 2012 that has, I think it's like a 17-inch monitor. But the more monitors, the better. I do not understand how people work just off a laptop. That would drive me crazy. And when I go away, as I'm doing in a couple of weeks, it just drives me nuts. I can't get anything done. Even simple shit like returning emails and stuff, part of my language. But, we're all adults here. Jeff says, I have a private and a professional. I try to keep them separate. Yeah, I've actually noticed that. You look much younger in one of the profile pictures, by the way. Jeff says, thanks. Good advice. Thank you. Tim says, you can talk politics with me anytime. Thanks, Tim. Jared says, how do you highlight local business service pages? Should do it as an article. How do you highlight local businesses service pages? I'm not sure what you mean by highlight it. If you mean data highlighting, it's the same way, but I'm not 100% sure what you mean, so you can just re-ask that if you want. Jeff says, thanks, fellow Jeff. For Jeff Connection. That was funnier in my head. See what we got over here on YouTube. Jade says, I have 2 monitors too. Yeah, I actually saw a study a while back that it increases productivity by I don't remember the number, but a good %. The Metal says, any newbie mistakes you made starting out and still see people doing this day to this day? Thinking too much. Trying too many different things. Like, oh, crap. There we go. Yeah, the overthinking and not taking enough action. Still the biggest mistake that even experienced people make sometimes. So, yeah, don't think too much. Just figure out your goal and start doing stuff. So, onlinevisibility.com says, big time, you help lots of folks. Well, thank you. That means a lot to me. Said you have 2 Facebook accounts too. So do I. But the only reason I do is because when I used to work in politics, it was really important to keep things separate then. But, and then I'm glad I had that backup one because I got put in Facebook jail last year. Some of you might remember that. And I used that for several months until I got this account straightened out. So it doesn't hurt to have a backup, even though it technically is against terms of service. Not technically. Something either is or is not against terms of service. So Michael says, where do you think you see yourself in 5 years' time? I don't think about my personal life enough, so I don't have a good answer to that. Business-wise, I want to make Legiit into an 8-figure company, and I want to stop taking on local businesses. And basically, I want to have gotten to the point where I don't have to worry about money anymore, and I can focus on helping people. And I don't have to worry about money as it is, but I want to be invested well enough that the money grows whether I do anything or not. So then I can focus all my time on making the world a better place, because that's really my goal with everything I do. So I know that's not very specific, but getting money out of the way is really the goal. So I have 100% time to focus on making the world a better place. You know, call me a hippie or whatever, but that's the answer. All right, looks like the questions are starting to die down. I'm going to take another quick drink, see if anybody gets any last-minute ones in. We'll take care of a little bit of business, and then we'll call it a day. Almost out, too, so. Damn it. Missed the trash can. All right, anything else on Facebook? Not looking like it. Oh, one more question. Tim says, in Alex Becker's book, 10 Pillars of Wealth, he talked about how we set up Source Machine just to break even, and he planned to make money on his SEO services. It doesn't look like that plan has worked out so well for him. Do you plan to make money from Legiit? I know long-term, no organization lasts without making a profit. If I plan to quit my job and do client consulting full-time, I'd like a stable platform to buy services from. Okay, so what he did with Source Machine did work, but he's moved away from the SEO business, so he's kind of closed that out. But it made profit enough between Source Machine, CCS, and the other source products to build Market Hero, which was really his goal at the time, was to build that. That's doing super well. So he used that to pay for that, and now he's kind of like moved away from that. And then he's building his supplement company. So that plan absolutely works, is use those to fund bigger businesses. As for Legiit, the plan is to grow it up to 8 figures, and then that's going to take several years. Then I will decide if I want to get a good valuation and a buyout, or if I want to continue to grow it up to 9 figures. So it's going to be around for several years. It's my core product. I think that's actually a good way to explain it. Market Hero was his core product. He was using other products, both his courses and his SEO softwares, to drive people into Market Hero and to pay for Market Hero. Legiit is my core product, so I'm using my SEO, my training, Superstar SEO, to drive people into that and grow that. It's my core product the way that Market Hero was his. So hopefully that makes sense. So to answer the overall question, it's going to be around for a long time, and it's just going to keep getting better. I think the improvements that we've made in the less than 2 months that we've been operational, like, people compare it to Fiverr, and to me that's good, because Fiverr is 8 years old and worth about $1 billion, and we are 2 months old and not worth $1 billion. But the fact that we're able to be compared to them this soon, I think, is something I'm very proud of, and gives you an idea of our intentions for the future, unlike some other platforms. So hopefully that answers that. Anything else over on YouTube? Online Visibility says his mom wanted to unfriend him over Facebook. American living in Canada. Yeah, I can see that. I unfollowed a lot of people during our last election here in the States. So, any idea why Alex doesn't sell off the profitable businesses instead of shutting them down? You'd have to ask him. I don't know. It's probably more trouble than it's worth, would be my guess, though. So, all right. We've been here for an hour and 10 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. I have some other things I got to get to today. Plus, I haven't eaten today, and I'm kind of starving. But be on the lookout next week. I'm going to be posting a link probably later today or tomorrow about Superstar Seo Academy. I decided to call it Academy instead of University because there's too many universities. To meet Jeff Cosio from the group, he's going to be my partner on it. He's going to be one of the coaches along with me. The training we have laid out, I have never seen I've taken every SEO course known to man. I've never seen something quite as in-depth from it as what we have planned. So it's going to be great. It's going to be super cheap to begin with. So be on the lookout for that. We'll do some free training to get you in, to show you it too. So be on the lookout for it. It's going to be awesome. I really think you're going to like it. I know there's a million SEO courses out there. I hope that you have enough credibility with me so that you like it. Give it a try. Be on the lookout for it, and that's going to be great. Other than that, I don't know. That's all I got for you. Just follow me on Instagram. I've really been trying to build that up lately. I'm really enjoying the stuff I put out there. It's basically like my blog, and I'm putting out, I think it's some great advice. It's getting good responses. So check that out at Superstar SEO. Join us if you're watching us on YouTube. Thanks for watching. I know that the video quality isn't, but if you are, join us on Facebook at superstarseo.com/Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, join us on YouTube at superstarseo.tv. That's all I got for you. Had a great time hanging out with you. If I missed your question, I can't go back and look at them on YouTube, but if they're on Facebook, I'll go over there and try to answer any that I missed. So thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon. Had a blast. Looking forward to doing it next week. Next week we may have another guest on. We'll see how it goes. That's it. Have a great day, guys. Take care.